Hi, Taurus, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I am going to be doing your July 2021 full moon reading for you. Now, I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will all be listed and linked in the description box below. Now, before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds. Letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. Let's let the bulls sing as we see what the tarot has to say. How will Taurus be affected by the July 2021 full moon? How will Taurus be affected by the July 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. How will Taurus be affected by the July 2021 full moon? How will Taurus be affected by the July 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. How will Taurus be affected by the July 2021 full moon? How will Taurus be affected by the July 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. And finally, how will Taurus be affected by the July 2021 full moon? How will Taurus be affected by the July 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Fantastic. Okay. So at the bottom is our rooted self. The left-hand side is our inner self. The middle, our heart, our emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So let's see what the cards have to say. And at the bottom, the deck is only major arcana cards. That's why it's so tiny. So we have the High Priestess and we have the Empress. Very, very, very strong sacred feminine energy coming forward. There's a sense of mysteries being revealed and things being created. So it's beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful. In our inner self, we have the Death card, which is Scorpio energy. We have the Nine of Pentacles, and we have the Five of Pentacles. Interesting. And then in the heart, we have the Ten of Pentacles, which is at complete odds with the Five of Pentacles. We have the Knight of Cups, which is water sign energy, Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer. We have the Knight of Wands, which is fire sign energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. The new moon is in Leo, so that's going to be coming through very powerfully. And we can actually feel the passion that this moon brings up and the waters that the moon controls kind of being at odds with each other at times. So do be mindful of that, Taurus. It's going to be interesting energy, to say the least, to have to deal with. We have the Page of Pentacles in the public arena. We're coming through as students, as learners, as, acquirers of information. Then we have the Knight of Wands coming through again, this time a lot more gentle, a lot more kind of being led on our path towards what we desire. And the Six of Cups, which is a sense of beauty coming forward, but there's also going to be this kind of canary in the coal mine type of energy around here. Things from the past are going to be warning you about situations in the present. But the thing that we have to be mindful of is living solely in the past. And there's going to be a sense of a bit of a chess game, a bit of a game being played or something coming forward. And it's going to be like a game that you played when you were younger, or something that happened when you were younger and things couldn't be completed the way that your soul needed them to be completed. This could also be a past life for some people coming forward. So do be mindful of that energy. But there's this sense of moving towards a place that we need to be at during this time in the public arena, and really moving away from games and hurts and the past. There's just a sense of, I have to move forward in this present, but the past is going to have a very strong grip on us during this time. Okay. So on the 23rd of July, the full moon is in Aquarius. Now, it's very interesting because on the 22nd of August, the full moon is also in Aquarius. And I've checked this like a million places because I think it's really quite neat. And the thing is that the full moon is in Capricorn until 8:12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So 8:12 at night Eastern Standard Time is when the moon moves into Aquarius. The full moon is at 10:37 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So it all moves into Aquarius, and the full moon always says to surrender to the divine, because that is where our true power is. And in Aquarius, it says, show the world the real you. And this is going to be a time where we're called to show the world the true us, to show the world who we need to be, who we want to be, where we want to stand, why we want to stand there. And we're going to be met with opposition, or we're going to be met with doubts and fears that want us to kind of say, oh no, I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready to truly be who I was born to be. So the full moon focuses on home and family, intimate relationships. They all come into focus following now, like during the full moon, and following the 2 weeks of this full moon, during this moon's phase. Oppositions are going to be a thing that we really have to be aware of, because they're going to be something that is a bit of a sticky wicket during this time. Work and home, wants and needs, everything that has its opposite is going to be something that we kind of struggle with being able to balance, being able to come to harmony with. Emotions and instincts reach their peak during the full moon, and this increases our emotional awareness, and we need to follow our intuition, but we're going to find it hard because we're going to think, oh no, I need to embrace practicality because intuition is calling to us. And then when we embrace intuition, we're going to think, oh no, I need to embrace, practicality. And then when we're embracing practicality, we're going to need to embrace intuition. So there's going to be a bit of it seems like I can't win during this time, but we can if we just step back a bit. We're going to see our relationship dynamics really clearly. And we're also going to see the negativity causing disharmony within these relationships. So we have to be aware of that. And as Taurus, we want harmony within our relationships, and our relationships and people that we love mean the absolute world to us. The moon is quincus, I think I'm saying that right, Venus, which increases our need for love and affection. And this also brings tension between us and our loved ones. It also brings a rise of tension in relationships because we're hypersensitive to the imbalances within our emotion, within our emotional supports, within our love, and within our loved ones. So this is going to be a time where we can really take everybody's kind of drama, and we're going to say, oh my gosh, it's my fault. I've made this all so hard for people, and it's not our fault at all. So we do have to be mindful of that. You may be feeling imbalanced also around self-love and where you feel yourself being able to be honest about yourself to yourself, if that makes sense. So it's going to be the sense of imbalance around self-love, the self-identity, and this is going to be a time where we really need to look at this and say, why? Why is it that I'm being held back when I need to move forward in the beauty that is me? Now the sun is quincus Jupiter during this time, which creates tension around our personal success. And this is going to be a rather interesting development because this is going to push us really hard to release the tension that this Sun quincus Jupiter brings, and it makes us appear very, very lucky. But it also makes us, during this time, put a lot of our self-identity into our work and into our achievements. And all of a sudden, we're going to be our work. We're going to be what it is that we're achieving, which can bring problems of greed and guilt and addiction coming forward. And so we have to be mindful of that. And what's very interesting is even though the Sun quincus Jupiter is going to really push us in our careers, we also have Venus opposite Jupiter, which is really good for socializing, loving, and relaxing, but it can make us lazy and careless. So we're going to have this huge urge to want to push things forward, and then we can have this carelessness come up, this sense of, getting almost to the finish line and dropping the ball. So we have to be mindful of that. But again, we have to be mindful not to put our whole identity just in our ability to achieve in work. Now, the new moon is on the 8th of August, and the new moon is in Leo. Now, the new moon says a new start is coming, beginnings, moving forward, walking from one portal into another. It's going to be very important, the sense of change. Now, this new moon in Leo says confidence is your key to success, but the new moon is squared Uranus, bringing us sudden and unexpected change. It also brings this feeling of impending change that makes us feel anxious and nervous, and it can lead us to amplifying our ego and our pride, which is really something that we have to be mindful of. We need to understand that we can't stop the change that is coming, but we also need to not be led to abruptness and impulsiveness during this time. We need to step back and embrace the fact that we're feeling a strong urge to embrace our inner truth, to say, kind of, who cares? I'm just going after it. But then also finding a balance, finding a harmony within ourselves and reining ourselves in a bit, because we're going to be willfully arrogant during this time, this kind of sense of the devil may care type of thing, this kind of, nonchalant attitude. We have to balance ourselves, calm ourselves, center ourselves. This is going to be a good time. This isn't going to be a good time for impulsive change, is what Spirit is saying. So we're going to feel this push towards change, but we need to really be mindful not to be impulsive. We also, instead of reacting impulsively, have to react with flexibility, creativity, and intensity of spirit. We need to avoid being in stubborn ruts, all right, or stubborn routines, kind of thinking this is the way it's always been, this is the way it's always going to be, and keeping that routine. This is going to be a time for a breath of fresh air to try something new. The universe is going to be sending us messages of change during this time. We have to be open to receiving them. A new and bright path is going to be coming our way. We just have to be able to take it. The opportunities will come if we keep an open mind, but this is going to be a time where we can really be stuck in ruts and say, this is the tradition, this is the way it has to be, and miss something beautiful that comes to us. And there's going to be this sense here with the High Priestess and with the Empress to embrace this change, to embrace this fluidity of movement, ideas, self, and desire. And as we embrace this, we are going to embrace ourselves more and more. Now let's look at the energy we need to be mindful of during this time. What is the energy that Taurus needs to be mindful of during the July 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. And it's the King of Swords. Now, we can be really attracted to people who seem to have the answers and who talk very bluntly. It's like, this is the truth, this is the way it is. They talk with such authority that we're going to be like, yeah, of course, you believe it, I believe in you, and this is how I'm going to move forward. But we also have to be very mindful during this time to boiling everything down to facts and cold, hard facts, kind of like numbers on paper, instead of people and feelings and emotions and beings. So this is a time for us to be aware of this. The King of Swords can be astoundingly logical and a bit awkward when it comes to emotions in the negative sense. So this is going to be a time where we really need to embrace our hearts and understand that we're going to have a proclivity towards people who embrace their minds minds first, and maybe their hearts 15th down the line. So we have to embrace the emotion of self, embrace the heart of self. Now, the chakra energy that comes into play during this time. How will Taurus be affected by the July 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides show me clearly. Is creativity, and it's the sacral chakra. And I love the sacral chakra because it's complex, and I like things that aren't always straightforward. So the sacral chakra represents our sexual energy, it represents our creative energy, which is wonderful, but it also represents and holds the traumatic energy that we have from this life and from past lives. And so when that all mixes together, we can find that it's hard to step into our creative sensuality, to step into the erotic existence of life, not only in the sexual, but in the beauty of the day-to-day. Creativity is calling to us. And this is going to be a time where creativity is going to be calling to us in very certain areas. It's going to come through very much like a bell chiming, or like the bull singing, just that clear is it going to come through. And then there are going to be a whole bunch of doubts, a whole bunch of fears. And we see that in the Six of Cups, a whole bunch of chaos that comes forward from past lives. And so in the public arena, we have to be very mindful, because I can see the Six of Cups really playing to the sacral chakra. And this is going to be a time from the past and from past lives where we think, oh no, I can't move forward in the creativity that I want. And that's the chess game that was being played. That's the canary in the coal mine that can, be the first sign that danger is around. Now, with the High Priestess in some tarot decks in the beginning was called the female pope. Now, the Hierophant is the male pope. In Taurus, you are represented by the Hierophant in the major arcana. To have the High Priestess come forward is the female element of that. So this is the beautiful counterpart to the energy that you yourself are represented by and live in within the tarot. This is going to be a time where that which is veiled is becoming unveiled. That which is hidden is becoming seen. There's justice and balance in the awakening that is within during this time. But there's also a sense of, can I stand in this power? Can I stand in this grace? Can I stand in the intensity that is me? And we have to make a decision during this time to show the world the real us, but also to show us the real us, to reclaim something that was missing, to reclaim something that had been silenced. And it's as we embrace our creativity, as we embrace a pregnancy. Now, it could be a literal pregnancy, but also a giving birth of thoughts and ideas, of voice, a reclaiming of passion and desire again for the life that we live and the way that we express what we are interested in. It can be a reclaiming of roots, a reclaiming of the gifts that we were born with. And this is a time where we might not want to see everything that is becoming clear to us, but this isn't a time to hide away from what is true for our souls and for ourselves. So as we do this, we're going to find that in our inner selves, we have the dying away of the old self, the rebirth of the new. We have the sense of who we once were, being set free to who we are today. And there can be a bit of mourning to this, but there's also going to be this huge sense of memory and thought becoming clear. This sense of being able to be guided towards or be reborn in a truer sense of our voice, our desire, and where it is that we want to be. It leads us to a powerful place of prosperity. And it brings us to this place where, if you can see inside, the stars are the limit. The cosmos start to open up to us. We start to call to the stars. And that's important because Aquarius is represented by the stars in the major arcana. And during this time, the stars and our wishes and our desires and our hopes, they play such a beautiful part in who we are. And with the Death card, we start to see ourselves transformed, and we start to reclaim the ancient wisdom of the stars and also of the birds, because our ancestors were guided by stars and by birds. They had their paths mapped out for them in ways that today seem like whimsy or poetry to us. And it leads us then to the Nine of Pentacles. It leads us to a place of prosperity. It leads us to a place of of joy and of realization and of, Spirit wants me to say entitlement. And I find that to be a bit of a harsh word to say because it sounds like I'm entitled to, but it's the entitlement of hard work, well paid off. It's the entitlement of having put in the time and the effort, the blood, the sweat, the tears, and being able to have rewards come forward, be able to have, prosperity guide us, lead us, and move us in a way that opens up doors, that leads us to fly higher and see more clearly than we ever have before. And then it brings us to this place of calling forward wealth. And again, realizing that wealth and the grass and the earth, there is so much more that we are connected to than what we originally thought. And it takes us out of a pauper's mentality. It takes us out of a place of poverty, hurt, pain, disappointment, despair, despondency. And it says to us, where is it that you want to be? What is it that you desire? But also, what is it that was denied to you? What is it that cannot be anymore? What is it that shattered you in one way or another, as we all get shattered as we live on this earth? And as we look at that shattering, we look at the rebuilding. We look at the fact that maybe some ideals were broken, and maybe there isn't a going back, but there is a moving forward, and there's power and intensity to it. There's insight and ideas and beauty and also compassion to the way that our hearts get to move forward now. And it brings us to this place, even though inwardly we're going to kind of fight this poverty mentality or fight this poverty that we have been through. It can be a poverty mindset, thinking, oh my gosh, I always have to save, or, always worrying about the paychecks. And there is going to be a need to step back and say, am I doing my best? Am I working hard? Am I putting in the time, the effort, the hours? Yes, then that's all I can do. The worry, it's just going to age me. It's just going to take away from my grace as I move forward in this world. And that brings us to the heart and the 10 of Pentacles, wealth that lasts for generations, prosperity, success, bounty, a sense of there is more here and there is enough to be shared. I don't have to hoard it away. It isn't only just for me. It is for us, and it is for, I want to say the masses. Spirit wants me to say the masses, but it isn't that this prosperity is to be given away. It's that if I walk in the prosperity that I was born into, the mantle of success and power and brilliance that is my legacy to be able to lead and to be able to embrace, then I will be able to share that with others. Just my energy vibration will lift others up. Just the way that I embrace myself, hold myself, and converse with others will elevate them. And this is going to be a time where we see that. This is also going to be a time when ancient wisdom comes forward. We can be remembering what our great-grandparents said, or our grandparents said, or our parents said. We can be, flipping through a book of, the works of Plato or poetry or whatever it is, and find something that really resonates with us, or listening to somebody online and they could use a quote from Marcus Aurelius, and it could be like, oh my gosh, that fits in perfectly to now. And this is going to be a time where we start to see it, where we start to see how ancient wisdom or ancient people aren't necessarily all that different than today's people, and the wisdom that our hearts still call for. It brings us then to the Knight of Cups. We start to be the defenders of our hearts, of our souls, and what we want. But we also start to see this moon not simply as a vulnerable time, which the full moon, the new moon can be. It can be a time of great emotional uprising, of a sense of needing to find the balance, needing to find the harmony within ourselves. This moon is going to be a time where we rise above the tides, the currents that pull us off course. And we really start to look at what we love, what we desire, what inspires us, what moves us forward in unique and lovely ways. And we start to hold that true. It's kind of like we hold the full moon in the reflection of our cup as we move forward. As we move forward towards our grace, as we move forward towards our inspiration, but also as we move forward, knowing that our heart guards us, loves us, and wants us to succeed. And if we can embrace the love that is within us, we can embrace almost anything. And then it brings us to the Knight of Wands, where we can find that our passion, again, can be in a bit of conflict because it kind of is jousting straight at our Knight of Cups, who doesn't have a jousting stick. So what we're going to see here is that our passion can kind of bombard into us. And we can see that in this, we can see this because of the Sun, Quincus, Jupiter, that our ambition hits us and it can jar us and it can take us out of the place of contemplative meditation. It can take us out of the place of harmony of heart and soul and self and take us into a place of chaos, take us into a place of, am I doing the right thing, or questioning, or, ambition guiding higher and higher, because our hearts really want to be in this calm, meditative state, but also we're looking at everything and everyone and thinking, you know what, I just have to go for it. I don't want to be left behind. And this is a time where we kind of have to come to terms with things, let some things go, build up other things to be able to embrace our passion and our desires during this time, because in the public arena, we are students. This is going to be one of the greatest opportunities for us to learn, because so much is being revealed, so much creativity is coming forward. This is a time to create. This is a time to cultivate. This is a time to learn. And this is the time to learn how we put our own stamp on something, how we have our own unique way of seeing something, embracing something, looking at something a bit differently, that opens up the door, that opens up our insight. And it brings us to the Knight of Wands. It brings us to this place where our passion guides us towards this inquisitiveness, towards this creation, towards this wonderment. It's just kind of like when you are a child and you realize that you can do something. You can fix something that was broken, or you can make something like your guardians made, or like, people that you really admire made. And you think, wow, this is extraordinary. That's the type of energy that Spirit wants us to be in during this time. The sense of this is extraordinary. And it's a hard energy to keep 24 hours a day, or at least in the waking hours. But this is going to be a time where we need to practice, remembering why we fell in love with XYZ, why we're moving in this direction, or if we're moving in a direction that is wrong for us, and what it is that we need to develop, become mindful of, embrace, that will call us back to our prosperity and to ourselves. It leads us to the Six of Cups. It leads us to our past becoming very prominent within our present, but also to us moving forward with this warning at our side, with a sense of this music, this canary in the cage that sings, that is beautiful, but doesn't fully fly free, because it is here to warn us. It is here to guide us. It is here to bring us forward with its song in a new way. There is this chess game here that I'm seeing, and I know these aren't chess pieces, this is a tea set, but there's this sense of this game being played that now we're walking away from. And it can be that, a guardian played it with us when we were little, mind games, hurtfulness, disparaging, condescending energy that we are now walking away from. It could be a guardian, a teacher, a sibling, a whomever. And we're saying, you know what, no, I'm done with this. And I'm taking me forward. And I'm taking the sacred masculine side of me, I'm taking the sacred feminine side of me, and I'm moving forward to a new world, to a new vision of self, to an empowerment of my dreams and who I am on this earth, to embrace my creativity, to enhance my sacral chakra, to really move me forward. Now let's see what the moon has to say for herself during this time. Taurus, July 2021 full moon. How will Taurus be affected by the July 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Well, I guess I will turn this one over. Angels and spirit guides. I like it because it's the full moon in Taurus, and that's the one that turned over. So that's really quite beautiful. It's you, Taurus. Angels and spirit guides. Show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. How will Taurus be affected by the July 2021 full moon? How will Taurus be affected by the July 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. So we have your dreams need a practical plan. The path opens up to you. And then we have the new moon in Taurus. Prosperity lies ahead. Darkness reveals it. And that's the new moon. That's going to be on the 8th of August. The new moon comes in. There's going to be power within that darkness. Then we have take time to breathe out. The sacred masculine comes forward. Masculine energy, lunar god. Your hard work is paying off. Acceptance. Okay. So we start off here with your dreams need a practical plan. The path. The path doesn't need to be practical to anybody else but your spirit and your intuition and yourself. The latter here is kind of wonky, It doesn't look like the most secure path forward. But with a practical plan, with the sense of, this is what I want. This is what I'm going to designate time to. This is how I'm going to open up the door. We're going to see ourselves move forward in power, in prosperity, in the sense of, this is me. And we're also going to see ourselves starting to tackle that which seemed insurmountable during this time. And it moves us to prosperity lies ahead. And this is going to be within the darkness, in our inner self. We need the darkness. We need the quiet. We need the meditative moments to come forward. And that's going to be very important to really set us on the path that we need to embrace. Take time to breathe out. The lunar god comes forward. Taking time to breathe out, and especially with the sacred feminine energy that we have with the high priestess and the empress, the moon here is bringing a masculine energy forward and saying, this is the tenacity, this is the desire, this is what is wanted. Take time to breathe out and look at the way that you're going about setting up your goals and conquering what needs to be conquered. This is a time where we need to come to balance with the lunar god and the high priestess empress energy of the tarot, the power that roots us during this time. How can they even each other out? How can they work in synchronicity, harmony, and power and prosperity? We also need to be able to take time to breathe out, to meditate, to embrace, to embody. And it moves us then to our hard work paying off through acceptance of who we are, acceptance of our limitations, acceptance of our blessings, but also acceptance that we don't have real power over these things the way that we would like to. Sometimes our greatest skills can be in the place that frustrates us or we're afraid of. This is a time to be accepting of ourselves and the world around us. This is a time to look at things with this childlike wonderment and be able to say, how do I move forward? How do I learn? How do I embrace what needs to be embraced, what needs to be embodied? Our subconscious Luna message for this time starts off with expect powerful change. And that, again, you have here with the new moon eclipse. This is what it says below. It's within the new moon. This power of the new moon is going to pull us forward towards change. We need to embrace that change towards the prosperity that lies ahead, for the prosperity that lies ahead. It's going to bring us a new road, a new path. And then we have here fear. So expect powerful change, but we're going to be afraid of this change. Even if we've longed for this change, we've wished for this change, there's going to be a part of us that thinks, is it going to cage me again? Or how do I prepare for it? How am I able to control it? We're not going to be able to control the change. We're going to have to kind of move with it. It's kind of like surfing. It's being able to ride the wave instead of fighting against the wave. And that's going to be something that's going to be very important for us, to be able to kind of glide on the wind, to be able to glide on the water. It leads us then to the subconscious energy we need to be mindful of, which is the Prince of Cups. We can become too entrenched in emotional feelings during this time and also be led by people whose emotional turmoil or chaos is just going to override things and becomes all consuming. We have to be very mindful not to be consumed by it, to move slowly and steadily towards our grace, our prosperity, and our desire without being consumed by passion or consumed by emotion, because it's going to be kind of like a hysterical energy that can make us fly really high up, but also kind of crash really far down. We have determination with the sacral chakra, the solar plexus chakra, which is part of our subconscious chakra energy during this time. We have to be mindful that we are swimming against the current. We're moving towards something that is hard to obtain, that is powerful in its happening, in its awakening within us, and our determination to lead us forward. The solar plexus chakra is saying here, follow your gut. It's not going to be the easiest of journeys, but it is going to be a powerful one. And we can find that the waters of this moon, the way that the waters control the moon, can make us feel, the moon controls the waters, can make us feel as if we're fighting against a current that we're not really understanding, because we're not surrendering to the beauty of the moon, but also to the beauty of ourselves. So that's going to be something to be mindful of. Our subconscious rooted energy is temperance, balance. This moon is also going to bridge gaps for us to build a path for us forward if we are brave enough to take it. Temperance is also Sagittarius energy. A sense of harmony comes forward, a sense of fire, a sense of determination, a sense of focus, but also a deeper desire to know why and to be able to embrace our own path, to not settle into somebody else's path, but to say, this is mine, and this is what I'm moving forward in. Our subconscious inner self is the Ten of Cups. Joy, happiness, and they all live happily ever after. Beauty and harmony, looking at what happiness means for us in an individual sense. Not this mass happiness, but this sense of, is it living in the city or is it living in the country? Is it going for walks? Is it being in the middle of a party? What is happiness for me? And how do I embrace that happiness? How do I schedule my day, or how do I live my day to be able to embrace joy and beauty and laughter and love? And how do I move forward in this blessing of happiness, or find and reconnect with the blessing of happiness? Our subconscious emotional self is the King of Swords. We're going to be, and that's why we have to be very mindful of it kind of taking over everything. The King of Swords is air sign energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. It is going to be the sense of knowledge and ideas. And it's also Aquarius energy, is this sense of, okay, we have to be very mindful that this moon doesn't take over everything and become the force that drives us so much that it takes us on a path that isn't what we want, but is this like amazing journey that we set at the end of, and we're like, I don't even know how that happened. So we have to be very mindful of it. The King of Swords is telling us here that this moon opens up power for us. It's the warrior king. And this is going to be a time that we are the warriors for the revelations that come, for the insight that guides us, for the fact that we are skilled with the sword, the fact that we hold this weapon of nobility in our hands. Create our words, create our passion, create our desire, and create the focus of ourselves from it. It moves us then to our subconscious public arena energy, which is the Knight of Cups. Once again, the Knight of Cups comes in, and I believe this is in now. 3 decks that it has come forward. And so we are moving forward in emotional understanding. We are moving forward with the moon gifting us something that moves us in a direction that we hadn't expected to go in. It can absolutely take over, and we can find this time from full moon to full moon, from the 23rd of July to the 22nd of August, as being like this mad time of creation and intoxication of ideas and self and discovery. Again, we have to be very mindful of it not being an intoxicating time of falling into addiction. But it can be a time that inspires, and we kind of step out of it, almost feeling as if we stepped into another world, the Fey world, and as if we, came out of a time that feels almost like a dream. So subconsciously here, we are going to be moving forward towards prosperity, towards emotional understanding, towards this sense of, I hold true to my heart, and I move forward with the power of my heart guiding me. All right, Taurus, I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I am sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace the power of this moon. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Taurus. And may you have a blessed moon.